There is also a suggestion that there are great filters. Do you think that a climate crisis is inevitable for any technological species?
Yeah, and it was the topic of my book before the last one, "The Light of the Stars." Climate change, which gets so politicized, and it's a astrobiological question. It's a question of planetary evolution, and any species that reaches the point where they're harvesting a significant amount of the energy from the planet is going to have a feedback. Like if you could have landed on Earth during the Roman time, you would have looked around and been like, climate change is coming, right? And so, and we did a bunch of papers on this. We did some modeling on this. I would argue that on the way, on the ascendancy of your energy use, you are going to push back on your planet. You should expect that to happen. And then the only question is, are you smart enough to be like, oh, I need to change energy sources? Like that's all there is to it. But I think that Anthropocenes are maybe quite universal, and it's just, are you smart enough to recognize it?
So Anthropocene, the era in which human beings have a very significant impact on the actual environment, biology, and ecology.
Yeah, I think that they're, what are alienocenes, that any civilization that is harvesting a significant fraction of the energy that their biosphere is using is going to push back on that biosphere. You should just expect it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it raises an interesting possibility about something called the sustainability paradox that's sometimes spoke about in SETI. So, maybe the easiest civilization to discover is one that's in the greatest disequilibrium with itself, which means it's the least sustainable. So the easiest civilization set would be one in nuking themselves. Right?
Dangerous pivot point.
Yes, the most violent and ecologically damaging civilizations would be the easiest ones for us to see because they're in the most disequilibrium with themselves. And the hardest ones to see would be the mature ones who figured out this is not sustainable. They start recycling everything. They start using solar powers and everything. They figure out a way to be in balance completely with their planets. This is sometimes called the sustainability paradox because it means we can't really detect those civilizations. The more invisible they become, Arthur C. Clarke had this quote that's like, any sufficiently technologically advanced civilization is indistinguishable from magic. And then Carl Schroeder, another science fiction writer, said, any sufficiently advanced civilization is indistinguishable from nature.
Yeah.
Because once they get so advanced, you won't see them anymore. They will just look like they blend into the stars.
Yeah, one thing I just want to, if I could.
Please.
An idea that we've been working on. So I've been the principal investigator on NASA's first grant to do technosignatures, to investigate technosignatures. And one of the ideas we've been playing with for a while that we still haven't written the paper on is the idea, though, of service worlds, right? So the unit of technosignatures should maybe not be planets, but should be planetary systems, right? Because the distance between the stars is so vast that it may really be hard for a civilization to really marshal the effort and continue the effort to do that. But planetary systems are relatively easy to settle, right? We've already sent probes to every kind of solar system body. And so it may be that what we should be looking for are airless worlds, right? Where you can put your technology, you can put your industry, you can put whatever you want on it, and they, and that would be really visible.
Like a trash dump, basically.
A trash dump, right? Or an industry, right? That's one way. But imagine taking Mercury and covering it with solar panels in order to, to do industry put your industry on Mercury. The glint from those solar panels would be visible from hundreds of light years across. So maybe that's like the better way of thinking about it, these idea of service worlds rather than messing with your own biosphere.